Hi, I'm Karen Russell, and I'm here with Alan Walls, and we're going to go over the posture, the asana, Upavistha Konasana, seated wide angle pose. So right now, Alan's just starting in Sukrasana, and he's going to slowly open the legs wide. Now, when you're doing this, be true to how open you are. So he has an extremely wide posture, and it's comfortable for him, so that's fine. You can also bring the legs closer in if you don't have that, right? So go back to where you feel comfortable, Alan. There is a trick. You can kind of lift the hips up and down a little bit. You can by taking your hands behind you and lifting up the torso and coming and down. Now, it's very important to be on the sits bones. So make sure that idea of thighs back, tailbone lengthen, feel like you're in your sit bones. If you're not, then your legs are probably too wide, and then you would bring them in. So you want to check the feet. So let's go through our platforms. So I like to activate my feet in this posture. I like to flex my feet. I'm getting a huge stretch in the hamstrings and the hip area and the groins and the low back when we start to forward fold. But right now, this is a nice, huge stretch. You're rooting down through the back of the legs. The navel's in, flesh the buttocks down, feel those sit bones rooted into the earth. Firm the outer upper arms back and down, where the shoulders go back and down. Don't puff the chest out too much. And a soft gaze, soft look. So a little bit of the Jaladhara chin lock, just slightly, So as you can just stay here, breathing in and out, right? Huge benefit. You're getting a nice opening. Now, what you can do is start to forward fold. So Alan's going to hinge from the hips, which we talked about a lot. And what that means is that you're not collapsing the side body. You're hinging from the hips instead of rounding the upper back. So slowly he goes with keeping the back flat. Now I would try this for a while and really breathe into it, because you're really getting a true opening in the hips. You're getting a nice stretch in the back and the low back, right? And his dristi is soft, and you're rooting into the earth. So don't worry so much about igniting any of the pelvic floor right now. Kind of feel like you're really grounding down through the sit bones. Now, if you feel like you want to go forward and say, Alan, why don't you grab a block and say you really can't go too far. So you want to just, maybe you can rest your hands on a block, right? He can also, say if he's going low enough, he can actually take the block and put it on his forehead. So he can actually put it on the higher edge. Now I know you can go, yeah. So say if you want to stay in this forward fold, you can actually use a block. You can even get a couple pillows, and that will lift the body up, but then you can relax into the posture. And as always, breathing deep, your Ujjayi breath. In these seated postures, when we start to hold the postures and get into the ligaments, and we're really doing a deep, deep stretch, breathe deeper. Start to use the breath. Start to imagine the breath going into areas of the body. So here, perhaps one of the areas would be the hip. Or maybe you want to breathe into the low back for more stability. And then take a moment when you're breathing. Coming out of the posture is just as important, right? So he's going to press his hands down into the earth, shoulder blades on the back, and slowly come up. So even this posture that seems simple, ignite your body to come in and out. So there's a couple little options we want to show you. In this posture to go a little deeper. You can use a strap, and he's going to do a nice straight leg stretch by taking the strap and putting around the foot and taking a moment to square the shoulders as best as you can over the leg, right? Now, what's going to happen sometimes too is if you bow forward, say to the left, the right hip will come up. If you bow forward to the right, the left will come up. So he's going to inhale, draw the elbows in like chaturanga arms, lift up the heart, and then forward fold flat back as best as he can. right? As best as you can. And then you can relax over, for sure. But notice that maybe the right hip's popping up. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take my right hand and just kind of push it down, say the top of the femur bone, and just draw it back as your forward fold. That helps too. Same thing with here. If you can't go lower, you can use a block on your hands on each side if you need to, right? You can have them on the higher part, right? The highest, and just hold and stay there. You can be nice and lifted, right? You don't have to worry about completely forward folding. But when you're doing this type of forward fold, make sure the opposite hip from where you're forward folding isn't lifting up. You want to draw it back. And just like any other posture, he would use his hands, press down, and then coming up by drawing the navel in and lifting up. And then coming back to center. So this posture is not so much a flowing posture. Great cooling posture, great for stretching the hips and the groin area, great release in the low back. Just remember to go through your platforms, even here, the feet, ignite the feet, engage the legs, right? And this posture is Upavistha Konasana, seated wide angle pose.